An OG Bitcoin whale just moved $8.7 billion worth of Bitcoin, and of course, everyone is freaking out. Bitcoin dumped from around 110.5K to below 107.5K. In today's video, we'll be talking about if this correction could see some further downside, or was this just a fake out and we're about to move higher? We'll also quickly go over what is happening with Trump's big beautiful bill, and of course, Elon Musk, who just went ahead and launched his own party. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Let's jump right into the video. As per usual, I'll kick us off with the Bitcoin chart, and I'd just like to quickly apologize for the quality in this video. I came back home to Canada, and right now I'm working on a new setup to hopefully have some higher definition videos. So if you can get past that, there's a lot of value in this video. Let's jump right into it. So taking a look at the Bitcoin chart. In my previous video, we talked about the fact that we were likely going to fall back within this range. A lot of people were quite angry with me because I said that. But what we can see here is that we weren't able to reclaim this high over here right around 110.6K. And so we went just below it and came right back down into this parallel channel. So what is next? If you've been following my channel, you know that my base case is that we will likely just chop around over the course of the summer. We are really seeing this summer chop in effect. Take a look at the chart, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And ultimately, this was expected, as we talked about months ago. So right now for the next few days, I'm not expecting much as it is a weekend and Bitcoin is likely to just chop around this 107 to 109K region. However, I do think that when the market opens on Monday, it's going to be a pretty significant time because we know that the expiry date for Trump's tariffs is actually on July 9th, which is this upcoming week. So if he goes ahead and confirms all of these tariffs are in effect, we didn't have deals with X countries, it's highly likely that Bitcoin will roll over ever so slightly. Now, I do think for the most part, this whole tariff nonsense has been priced in, both to the downside and to the upside with the new deals coming along. But right now, it's just a choppy market and there's nothing we can really do about it. I've just been playing this market as I see fit. When we got the deviation above this range and we didn't quite reclaim this high, as we talked about in my previous video, I actually went ahead and entered a Bitcoin short, and you can see that right now we're sitting at around $20,000 in profit, pretty solid short, and I also posted this short in my free Telegram community. By the way, if you'd like to join, that is the first link in my description down below. If you click over here, Telegram, CBM Trades, first link, and I'll be happy to onboard you into my free signals group. But you can see that in this video, I actually got quite a lot of negative comments because people were convinced that no, an all-time high is imminent for Bitcoin. And while I do think that during the summer, we could potentially reclaim a lot of liquidity to these highs, as I've been saying over and over again, I don't think that we will be making an aggressive all-time high. And we saw this last summer. We just chopped around until we finally had a massive breakout. Now, if Bitcoin starts confirming below 106.2K, which you'll remember is a very crucial zone, at that point, I do think that we'll spend a lot of time in the middle of this range and potentially prepare ourselves to go lower below the 100K region. Now, don't quote me on that quite yet. I will obviously make sure to keep you updated as the price action develops. If we could get a bounce, I may be entering a Bitcoin long. So again, if you want to know when I go long, join my community, which is the first link in my description down below. But right now, we got the confirmation back within this range and we touched this fair value gap. So let's see how things develop. Will Bitcoin just bounce off of this fair value gap and we had a fake out to the upside, fake out to the downside, and then we go ahead and pump? There is a potential scenario where this could happen, which is why I've already started taking some profits on that short. Now, next thing I wanted to show you here is Ethereum against Bitcoin. Same situation. The reason I'm bringing this chart up as it pertains to monetary policy is because we know that when ETH Bitcoin really starts pumping, that is when we get the green light for altcoins. Ethereum determines the rest of the altcoin market for the most part. And right here, this upper line, as we've covered on the channel before, represents the Fed's balance sheet. And as you can see, it continues to go down, which means we are still in quantitative tightening. Whenever this goes down, historically, ETH Bitcoin continues to go down. However, if we at least go flat, At that point, there's a chance that ETH Bitcoin can pop above its bull market support band over here and then hold it as support, which would then trigger an altcoin season as Ethereum Bitcoin continues to climb. But right now, you can see that over the past few years, Ethereum against Bitcoin just continues to go lower, which is why I have been 95% Bitcoin in my crypto portfolio. It's not worth having the downside risk in altcoins right now. If you want exposure to crypto, Bitcoin makes the most sense, even at this stage in the market. Now, as we get deeper into the summer, I do think that we will have a deeper pullback for Bitcoin, and I'm looking at that as an opportunity to accumulate some altcoins. Of course, on this channel, I will make sure to keep you updated on which altcoins those are, but for now, I'm heavy Bitcoin. I have some cash in preparation for a bigger pullback. So, right here, I wanted to also touch on USDT dominance. USDT dominance, it's one of these things that we really like to track on the channel because it tells us where the market could be headed. Now, every single time we come down here, it's extremely bullish for crypto because USDT dominance decreases. However, as we came back down, it looked like we were confirming below the bull market support band here, and potentially Bitcoin was ready to go higher and higher and higher. But we can see that these most recent monthly candles are indeed green, and we're trying to reclaim this bull market support band. Ultimately, the higher that USDT dominance goes, the worse it is for crypto in general, meaning Bitcoin could go lower and altcoins would likely bleed against Bitcoin as they also go lower on their USD pair. So keep your eyes on this chart because the higher that this goes, the worse it actually is for crypto in general. The lower it goes, then of course, very bullish for crypto. Next thing I want to show you quickly are the liquidation heat maps. Now, this one paints a very interesting picture because as Bitcoin started to roll over the past couple days, a lot of people started going short. However, there is also a lot of long liquidity. As soon as Bitcoin starts consolidating, a lot more people start going long. And we also saw that longs were piling into the market over this past week. So taking a look at a more clear exchange liquidation map chart, this one, as you know, I like to cover on the channel very often. And right now, there are still more longs in the market. Now, this doesn't mean that Bitcoin has to absolutely go down, although my short position would suggest that I think that there is still some downside for Bitcoin. So let's see how this develops. A lot of long liquidity is right around the 102.5 to 103.5K region. So if we come all the way back down here, it's highly likely that a lot more people would pile into shorts. And if that happens, then of course, we could swing the other way as we've seen time and time again. And this is the nature of the choppy summer. There is no clear direction for Bitcoin right now, in my opinion. And I just wanted to be extremely clear. A lot of people were also commenting saying that I'm just hoping for a choppy summer or I'm hoping for more bearish price action. I can't say that that's true because, as I said, most of my portfolio is in Bitcoin. So I stand to benefit a lot if we get a lot of upside for Bitcoin and we were to pump and make a new aggressive all-time high. I'm just telling you objectively what I think will happen. I do think that this summer chop will just continue. And it's not my decision. I don't control the market, but I made a promise to myself when making this channel that I would always be fully transparent as to what I think could be happening in the market. I'm not going to tell you that Bitcoin will just skyrocket because it gives me more views. Now let's take a look at some of the news, because there was quite a lot of news that came out. First of all, we have this OG Bitcoin whale. He was holding around 80,000 Bitcoins, and after 14 years of dormancy, transferred out half of those Bitcoins, valued at around $4.35 billion. So he controls about 8 wallets, 2 of which received 20,000 Bitcoins. The other 6 wallets received 60,000 Bitcoins, which was around $202,000 at the time, $6.52 billion today. So crazy stuff. Here are all the addresses. I will make sure to leave the link to this tweet down below so you can look at it on chain if you really want to, but this obviously spooks a lot of people. Now, I saw an interesting strategy that someone else suggested. Why don't these whales, if they do have a Bitcoin wallet that they haven't touched and there's a significant amount of Bitcoin, to make some profits, why don't they just go ahead and move Bitcoin to a new wallet and open a short on the market in case people get freaked out? You start making a ton of profits to the downside, and then you just close that position for a quick gain. Not a bad strategy. Next piece of news I want to show you. United States threatens 17% tariffs on European Union food exports. Now, obviously, we thought that the whole tariff stuff was over, but July 9th. Keep that date in mind because it could impact the market. And speaking of more news, President Trump officially signs the One Big Beautiful Bill into law. So it is official. Now, what does this actually mean? Because a lot of people are very bullish with this bill, and they have the right to be. I went ahead and asked Grok, and we got this. Increased liquidity and risk appetite. The bill includes significant tax cuts and increased government spending, which are hallmarks of expansionary fiscal policy. This typically injects more liquidity into the economy, potentially leading to higher disposable income for investors. With more capital available, there's a greater likelihood that some of this money could flow into risk assets like cryptocurrencies. As noted in the related web results, expansionary fiscal policies can boost economic activity, leading to increased investments in assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and of course, other altcoins. If the general population does have more money to speculate on these coins, of course, we can see some more upside in the crypto market. And as a matter of fact, I don't want you to think that I'm a perma bear because I do think we will have more upside, significant more upside after this summer. So as I said, I'm preparing to start accumulating altcoins. I don't think it's quite the time yet. However, there will be an opportune moment and I will make sure to keep you updated on when I think that is. And speaking of this bill, the last time that Trump introduced a massive spending bill, Bitcoin pumped 38% in just 1 week. So could we see this replicated? I don't actually think so. It takes a while for these things to come into play. And we know that with this bill, the deficit will increase by over $3 trillion. Now, there's a lot of people that aren't happy about that. One of them being Elon Musk. You know that he was helping President Trump with the Department of Government Efficiency. Then they had some beef because ultimately Elon Musk does not agree with how Trump spends money and how silly it is that they're going to go ahead and increase the deficit. This kind of negates all of the efforts that Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency put into action. So he came out and now he's announcing the formation of the America Party. When it comes to bankrupting our country with waste and graft, we live in a one-party system, not a democracy. So let's see how successful this is. A lot of people are speculating that it will have no impact. And one of the comments here that I thought was interesting was, this is clearly an American. I love my country, but this won't go anywhere. The two-party system is entrenched into our country. I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Leave your comments and I'll make sure to read them all. See what you think about what Elon Musk is trying to launch here. And the last thing I want to show you as we wrap up this video, US Secret Service launches global operation to combat crypto scams. This is ultimately very positive. I mean, I hope that we can really get to the bottom of crypto scams because at this point, even though crypto has been around for quite some time, every single time I tell people that I'm producing content in crypto and I'm trading crypto on a daily basis, I get a lot of slack because it still has this negative connotation. Isn't that a scam? Are you sure about this? Ultimately, in my books, crypto continues to be the future. Last thing as we wrap up this video, as always, if you want to trade with me, you have the second link in my description down below, which brings you directly to Bluffin. It's one of the top exchanges that I have been using. And as you can see here, it's actually the exchange that I'm using for this current Bitcoin trade. We're sitting just about $19,000 in profit. So if you want to trade with me, you have that second link in my description down below. And remember, if you want to join a free signals group, you have the first link in my description down below. And that sums up today's video. Bitcoin continues to chop around. As expected, I hope you're enjoying this summer chop. I will make sure to keep you updated as it continues to develop. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.